So here's a little tour of my setup that I utilize for our productions, for the remote productions for the Museum of Broadcast Communications. This is my laptop here, which has the central control software running on it. I also utilize Splashtop to actually have KVM of the TriCaster 8000 systems display so that I can do things that are a little beyond control surface needs, such as various functions that I just haven't programmed up. But then central control then goes and utilize stuff. For example, I have the Stream Deck here, and this Stream Deck I've got set up with a couple of cool features such as the live graphics reveals and selection of different buffers for live graphics. I've got a couple of comp selections, and by the way, both the comp selections and the live graphic buffers utilize the feature in Central Control for radio button so that I can get notification for things that actually don't have notification in the TriCaster interface. And then, although I'm not really utilizing it anymore, I have a range of program buttons here. It's kind of nice to see them. And the reason why I don't need them is because I have control surfaces, which originally I didn't, but I then set up this old RS8 to have control surface functionality. And as you can see that I've got things on here that aren't really necessarily directly relating to the TriCaster program and preview rows in sequence. I've got my remotes, one of the MEs, one of the buffers, things like that. But even more interestingly is the secondary keys over here where I go through and I can advance graphics. I can start a timer, which I'll show in a moment, and I can turn on and off the record function in the system. And by the way, on the displays coming out of this laptop, I've got both the Premium Access live audio control panel, more for visuals than anything else. But I also have a VoIP system so that I can utilize this for remote IFB into my TriCaster. Then speaking of audio, then here's the Behringer X-Touch Compact, and this is kind of cool because in addition to controlling the standard TriCaster audio, I actually also have a vMix system, and so by using the layers, I can go back and forth between the vMix audio and the TriCaster audio, and in fact, the vMix I'm utilized for streaming, so that's the play button over here when we're on the vMix. And on the TriCaster, I control the records over here, which actually, in addition to there, I also have the record control over here too on the supplementary keys. But the fact is that the layers that are selected here work great in this function because I can go back and forth, and I keep them consistent so that the remotes, for example, are all in the same spot, whether they're on the vMix or the TriCaster, so I don't have to kind of be searching for things. And of course, the master is the master no matter what. So, and over here, the channel mute. So I can easily mute, for example, the music bed, or if I'm getting a little bit of feedback, I can mute one of the remotes and so on. And then finally, I have on this tablet over here, the Iris Down countdown timer, which is also controlled from the control surface. You can see I have the timer over here, so I can start and stop the timer remotely and see, I can actually see also the display on that because it has a secondary page that it publishes the timer over a web page view. Now finally, although I don't have it operational at this point, I did pick up this LC11 control surface, which I'm getting set up to utilize. I got it mainly because it has additional buttons and has more control over some of the functionality in the system. I'm not utilizing the T-bars right now, so I was thinking of using that for the teleprompter control, and in fact, actually in the teleprompter control in the TriCaster interface, it even looks like a T-bar, which if you take a look over here, you can see that even looks like that. And Joe has set that up so that it can work and utilize that for controlling the teleprompter play out. So what you're seeing on the screen here remotely is 3 vMix calls coming in. Actually, these are just stills because nothing's happening right now, but these are 3 vMix calls coming in over NDI into the TriCaster, and then the TriCaster has the functionality of doing all the switching, playback, graphics, and such. And I use the vMix system for the vMix call functionality, and also currently I'm also utilizing it for streaming as well. And once again, the Stream Deck itself does a lot of nice control. So, for example, here's controlling the comps. I can control that very nicely, and you can see here that it also has, since I set these up as radio buttons, I can go back and forth, and that once again is not a feature within the TriCaster user interface. So this all works out really, really well. It doesn't need the premium access functionality that you see over here. I just have that up for monitoring those audio channels. The only thing really other than that I'm using the premium access at this point, other than perhaps at some point this teleprompter functionality, is in the live graphics. And that's in, of course, the buffers here. And I have a buffer, and the different presets are selected down here. And then I fire them off with this last lower third button right here. So, for example, you'll see it's not designed for this particular screen, but you see what it looks like. It goes and plays that out. That's the executive director's lower third title, and then it hides it. And that's just automated. I have the timing in the actual central control button call rather than putting it in any kind of a macro. So it's really very, very clean. This doesn't utilize too many macros at this point. These are mainly direct calls to the various features, be it the live graphics buffers or the comp selects as well. So that's a little quick tour of the setup for central control here from remotely controlling the Museum of Broadcast Communications production environment.